Hey Rangers, today we're going to be talking about A Certain Magical Index 2, and I have to say I wasn't behind this anime as much as I was a Railgun anime, but yeah, let's start with a review. You get 4 different Blu-rays. Disc 1 contains the following: episodes 1 to 8, as well as episodes 2 and 7 of director's commentary, and this one is 3 hours and 9 minutes. Disc 2 is slightly weird because it's not that long. You get episodes 9 to 12, you also get a textless opening and closing, and this one is 1 hour and 34 minutes. Disc 3 has episodes 13 to 20, and it has episode 14 commentary. This one is 3 hours and 11 minutes. And on Disc 4 it has episodes 21 to 24, textless openings and closings, where one of them has been used before. I don't know why that's on the second thing. Maybe they ran out, maybe they thought, well, let's just put it in. You also have episode 22 commentary, and this one is only 1 hour and 36 minutes. Now, out of all animes that I've seen for a while, this one was kind of very hard to follow the plot. It felt like there was a lot going on, and it kind of really... it made me not want to follow it completely because it was just everything was like firing from all sides. Either the plot didn't make sense, hard to follow, or kind of both at the same time. Now the anime follows 2 characters. It follows Toru, I hope I say his name right, and Index. And most of the time Index isn't actually in this anime. You know, she goes off, she's lost her phone or something, but she's generally just not in this anime. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of weird, and you're the one of the main characters. Toru is a typical anime guy. He wants to protect his friends, he will stand and fight, but he also has this unique ability which can stop other people using their abilities or magic spells or whatnot with his hand. Like, oh, okay, that's awesome, because I thought, oh, you'd develop your powers, you become super strong. But sometimes when he goes in for like the final punch, just one punch knocks him out. And you're thinking, yeah, some people kind of go, oh, you've hit me, and then it's like, I'm going again. But most of the time it's one punch and you're gone. Or at least knocked to the ground. And Index has like this entire whole magical library in her head, so she can recite spells, she can know anything straight away. And you kind of think, why aren't you using this more? I think she uses it at least once in the anime. That's it, where she's looking for a sniper and she's like, over there, and then she uses a spell to do something. That's the only time that I actually really saw it. Now, as I say, like Railgun, it has quite a few plots. I think it has 2. And the first one is where they're fighting a church. They find this nun who asks for their help. She gets captured, she gets sent down. I have to admit, there is a scene where Index is actually, no, she does use it twice. She's like reciting a spell to make people stop, where the nuns just grab these pens and stick them in their ear, and I'm like, holy crap, what's all that about? And it's like, yeah, they can't hear you now, so that spell doesn't work. I'm like, holy, that's dedication to making sure that you stop these characters. Oh. Then there's like a kind of another plot where they're doing this whole school festival. They meet up with Misaka, and then yeah, then Tomoru loses a bet, and he's got to then turn around and do what she says. Misaka, that is. And then they find out that this other person is putting magical spells everywhere, and she's a main character that they have to fight. She's in the anime, and she's possibly one of my favorite characters in this. But yeah, then oh, it's just so kind of, here's so many, but then it kind of focuses on a plot with Accelerator from Railgun, and then it's about Misaka, and then it kind of follows. When watching this didn't give me enough time to kind of break it down. It was just like, boom, right, you've had the nuns, you've had the church, boom, there's another one. Oh, you know, I had that. Oh, you come back from Italy, here's Misaka and Accelerator. Bam, let's have all these animes in, and you're like, oh God, just calm it down. Just calm it down, guys, seriously. But yeah, it just gets really kind of confusing. So the animation, there's not a lot I can turn around and talk about the animation because it's exactly like Railgun. If you've not seen the video, link in the description. But yeah, it's just, it feels like there's tons of stuff going on. but the animation is solid, it flows. Again, lip syncing, there'll be parts where they're speaking, but most of the lip sync is perfect. There's a lot more fighting in this anime because obviously Tomoru only has one ability, and you know, so it becomes like a darker tone at times where it's grungier, and it's like, oh, okay, I can get behind this. It can be kind of flashy, as in when there's certain magic users using their attack, they'll summon something, everything will be lit up really well, and you know, so it is kind of a little bit colourful, but not that colourful, should I say. Let's talk about the writing. Now, the writing got boring. There were loads of parts in this anime where I was just like, I'm not really kind of into this. And I kind of really wanted to switch off, which I think is really bad. If you're going to be producing this and if you're going to be making people want to watch it, you have to make it more lively. For me, I got bored of this really, really quickly, and I was like, what's the point? There would be parts where I could just turn it off and I could completely forget things. But again, the same thing is like with Railgun. It did have parts where it would catch up and you'd be like, oh, okay, this is cool. I know what's happening now. With the characters, again, I'm going to be, I think, talking about more characters in depth, but there are things in the writing that you see in every anime. If the main character or someone is not paying attention, the one person will slap them, bite them, attack them for no reason, and you saw Index do this, and I would have changed the characteristics. She was very also kind of food orientated, and most of the scenes I saw, she's like, I need to get some food, oh, I'm so hungry, and then like, I've just eaten 10,000 pounds of fish, yum 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 yum, I'm still hungry, and I'm like, oh, guys, if you're gonna be writing this, can you change something? Don't have this the whole way through. And I kind of thought that was a main point of her character. It was just boring. When they wrote it, I don't know if they kind of wanted to phase Index out quite a bit, because Tomoru would be like, hey, I need to ring you. You don't have your cell phone. You've not charged it. You've lost it. It's been damaged. And I kind of thought, you kind of think you'd have some sort of special bond, you know, like, hey, I need your help, I'm coming, I'm here, or sense where she was. These things where it felt like the writers just wanted to push her out a little bit, because I don't understand why they did that. What I found weird was having Accelerator in it. He was in the intro and I was like, what are you doing in here? But when watching what he was doing, the writers pretty much put him as a main character. He gets his own separate arc, he gets a lot of screen time rather than just a background character, a bad guy that's been beaten. He's looking after a little version of Misaka, and he literally either falls in love or he has like a brother-sister love where he completely changes as a character, and he's well written. In fact, he's possibly one of the best characters that's written in this anime, and I really liked it when people turn around and were like, yeah, you're gonna change, and he's like, no, I won't. He's like, no, you will find someone that you care so much about that you will protect them no matter what. And it's like, oh yeah, I will, I'll just do that. And he becomes a whole different character, and that to me is something that I really liked in this, and that was well written, and I think that was possibly my favourite part of the anime. One of my favourite episodes is when Tomoru and Misaka go on a date after Misaka wins, and it was comedy, it was written really well, and then when Misaka disappears for a little bit, Misaka's clone comes in, and she's very kind of much in your face, telling you as it is, and that's what I kind of liked, because you know, that to me felt like there was a whole break. There was a bit of a, calm down before the next part. And I can remember the second part really well, but the first part of the anime, apart from a ship, I can't really remember much from it. And this is what the anime needed. You know, even Railgun needed that as well. One thing I would have really liked to see is Tomoru using his powers more. He has the ability in his hand, but I would really have liked it if that would develop, so he could make like armor, or his entire body was able to do it. So if he's walking along and someone's like firing electricity or something at him, it's just bouncing off. He's like, doesn't work on me. But it just seemed like it went straight to the hand, and effectively, oh, why didn't they just cut his hand? If they cut his hand off, his power stops. Would not have been able to do anything. But he does reference that. He says, like, I would cut my hand off if it meant sacrificing myself for my friends or helping save them. And I was like, do you know what? That's not too bad. To me, I wanted them to write him so he would have evolved. He would have been a lot better, but he just stays the same. And you know, sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's just boring, and this anime needed a lot of change. I liked some of the characters in this anime, some more than others, and I do think this was all focused around Tomoru. Like, Index didn't really matter. As I said, she would be off, she would not have a phone, something would have happened, etc, etc. And I kind of thought, oh, right, so you're being pushed out? You're not part of this anymore? Okay. As I said before, Tomoru is your typical anime character. He wasn't too bad, but he could have used a lot of character development. In my eyes, I think he could have used a lot more. Index to me felt like she was a throwaway character. I watched 1 or 2 episodes of the first season and I kind of thought that she would be the most important person because of all the grimoires and everything inside her head that could mean the end of the world or could mean someone getting more power. But it did feel like she was just kind of brushed aside a lot, which I kind of felt a big shame because I would like to have seen her character a little bit more toned down when it came to her biting Tomoru, because he did something wrong or something happened, she'd be like, and it's like, why are you biting him? You know, if I was me, I would have just turned around and said no, or done it back and gone, how would you like it if I bit you on the head or bit you on the hand? It also felt like she was just constantly eating. That was her main role. If she wasn't doing something, if she was looking for Tomoru, he'd be like, I'm so hungry, I've got to eat. And most of the times it's like, we'll get you some food. Have you eaten? How was that meal? Oh, are you hungry? And these sorts of things kind of made me think, what's the point of having this character in this anime when it's pretty much named after her? Ugh. The whole biting thing, I say, got really old. It could have been taken out. Mitsuko wasn't too bad in this one. You felt like she properly loved Tomoru and that she really wanted to spend time with him, and you know, she didn't want to admit her feelings when they were clearly there, and she was a generally nice character in this one. And I felt more because I'd watched Railgun first and then Mitsuko's in it, so it kind of made sense. But I really enjoyed her being in this anime as well as her clones, because you know, it's that whole episode where they're on the date. Again, it was like Mitsuko really knows what she wanted, or the clone, but Mitsuko would get jealous, and the Mitsuko clone would be like, just tell him that you like him because we all like him. You know, he's cool. And I was like, yes, this is what I wanted. I wanted a kind of a bit more love interest, and I would love it if Tomoru went off with one of the Mitsuko clones and went, well, why not? Accelerator had to be one of my all-time favourite characters in this entire anime. I thought in Railgun he was a dick and I didn't really like him, but in this one you saw that he completely changed and he had the most character growth. That's what I really liked, but you know, he just comes into the whole point of the last arc, and if it was all about him, why can't we have an anime to like the ultimate accelerate or accelerator blah 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 whatever, or a certain accelerate. If you think of that, put it in the comments below. But that's what I kind of liked. That, you know, his character really grew on me, and in the end I really sympathized with him when he wanted to protect the little Mitsuko. That's what I could really relate to him, and he was a nice guy. He wasn't doing it for himself, and he pretty much was powerful. There's a point where he was like, oh, I've only got like 4 minutes left, turns this thing on, I can move buildings to attack. I was like, holy crap, dude, you are strong. What made this interesting for me? Not a lot. I will say not a lot made this interesting for me. At points I just got bored and wanted to turn it off and just didn't want to come back. I think some of the points was, I was saying, one of my favorite characters who she had like she was able to use magic by using multiple different forms of magic, by throwing talismans, by not using the same attacks over and over again. That's what I kind of liked. That's what I kind of thought, do you know what? You are cool, and those are the little things that made it interesting. There was a small amount of episodes which did make it interesting, which had the comedy element, but the main storylines, apart from accelerators, there was just nothing in it, and I think he was the only thing that made it interesting for me, because again, he wanted to protect, he went against people that made him. That to me was interesting, but apart from that, there was hardly anything. My final thoughts, again, had some interesting points, only a slight, which could have been expanded more. It did shock me, but not to the point where I was on the end of my seat, where I was like, oh my god, I need to watch the next episode, I need to know. As I said, I didn't like the fact that Index was a throwaway character, and she was more, you know, I wish she was more kind of in it all the time, maybe off for 1 or 2 episodes doing something else, but she was a fighter as well, she was a main character, but again, it just felt like she was just a throwaway character. I think that it would have been interesting if it was about one main plot. That was it. It wasn't about 3 different things going on. There was a bit of a break, there was a little bit more time to adjust to new characters coming in rather than in, out, oh, don't know what's happening. That to me would have been a lot better. Storyline was okay, but it could have been done better with having, like, say, a magical index, or a certain magical index 3, where it could have been all about accelerator and stuff like that, or it could have been a major point, because they do talk about like the end of the world, something's happening with, I think, a spirit sword or something, but again, like, this whole thing didn't really kind of made an impact on me. I remember the last part more than I do the other parts, and that to me is a sign of, you tried your best, but it wasn't good enough. So if you're gonna pick this up, pick it up, but you need to watch season 1. I may go and watch season 1, I don't know. I started watching it and it wasn't too bad because that actually had me engrossed from the first episode. But apart from that, if you've got this as a collection, add it to the collection. Highly recommend it for that. If this is a standalone anime, you have to pick up season 1 before you go to season 2. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So Rangers, what do you think about this? Is this anime good? Do you like it? Do you not? What's your favorite parts? What would you change if you could? Do you think I'm right or do you think I'm wrong? Let me know down below in the comments, and if you've liked this video, like, favorite, comment and subscribe. Check out all the other videos on the channel. And as always Rangers, thanks for watching and I'll see you in a bit.